Hi everybody, I'm here with Misti Weatherford and we're in my office here at Integrity Training Systems, and we're just going to talk a little bit about the experience that I've had in working with Misti as a client, just coaching her through bodybuilding shows, but not just working with her through shows, but just working with her on being an athlete and just being a healthy mom. We're going to talk a little bit about how she came to find me and why she made the decision to work with Integrity Training Systems, how often she works out, the types of workouts that we do, what it takes to keep her doing what she does, and how she finds a way to stay in shape all year long so that she's not in a position to where she's spending 16 weeks, 12 weeks right before a show trying to get all of her weight off. How does she really stay in good show shape all year round? Because so many people will say that it's not healthy to be this lean, or it's not healthy to stay in shape like that all year round. And we kind of debunk that because she stays in shape all year round and she's plenty healthy. So I just want to talk first with Misti. She's a personal trainer here at Integrity Training Systems. She works with several competitors. We couple together with clients and that are doing shows, and I usually do their nutrition. She does the personal training. I don't do as much personal training anymore, so it's a really good combination. She helps them through the posing, and then we just kind of guide people through that process. But I mean, we also work with the average person that has no desire to do a bodybuilding show all day long. We work with folks just to help to make them healthy. So Misti, tell them about how you decided to come to find me, how it came about. We started down at Powerhouse, and how far you drove to work out, just everything. Tell them kind of that initial story.
Okay, and I think it was 2013 is when I met you.
Yeah.
And I met you at a bodybuilding show in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a funny situation how I met somebody in a parking garage, and I walked in with her, and I ended up sitting right next to you.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've ever been to a bodybuilding show, and I was just watching, and I was watching you and all your competitors you had on stage, and I was just fascinated with the sport or the hobby. People call it whatever they want, but I sat there and I was like, you know what, I think I can do this.
Yes,
I can do this. I was not into weight training at all. I was into cardio and running and training for a marathon, and that was my goal at the time. And I was like, I want to do weight training. And so I did, however, get a trainer when I decided to do a show. And I worked with him for a while, and it was great. It got me to the stage, and I did very well my first show. And at my first show is when I saw you for the second time.
Right.
You were there again with your team of people, and I just was fascinated by how you guys did things, and the girls, and I was just like, this is really neat. I want to be a part of this. And so I did a couple of shows. I think I did 3 shows, all in the same month in 2013. And after that, I just felt like I wasn't progressing to the next level. I earned my pro card. I was going to that next level. I was just like, how do I keep going? And in the current situation that I was in, I didn't feel like I was getting there. And so I decided to reach out to you because you're like, if you ever need anything, just give me a call. And I was like, I wonder what it'd be like. And so that's when I did. I think it was in April of 2014. Yeah. I decided to go to Powerhouse, and first leg day with this woman here, and it was 2 hours long, and there was a few other girls there that I had met at the previous show, so it was kind of more designed for the competitor leg day. And I did it, and I was like, I'm going to die.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to last in this group of
You made
people.
it, though. You made it. You did great.
And I did, and it was great.
2 hours of legs.
2 hours of legs, and so...
then you came back for shoulders,
and
back and shoulders. Right.
And so my one day of training, started, okay, once a week, I'm going to go out to Powerhouse. I'm going to train with Debbie, and then we're going to talk about doing a show. And then that one day became 2 days, and then it became 3 days, and then it's 4 days. And at that time, I lived in O'Fallon, Illinois, and found that I was driving to Powerhouse in St. Louis, and then out to Lake St. Louis, almost 5 to 6 times a week.
Right.
Because I'm like, this is working.
Yeah.
This is working. I love the people that I'm working out with. I did more of the group, all the group training, And so I was hooked. I was getting addicted to the sport. My body was changing, and then in the fall of 2014 is when we did my first show together.
Yeah.
And and that was, I just did my 20th show now. So I think 17 shows with you.
Yeah.
And
time flies.
I know, right?
It's crazy to think it's been that many shows.
Yeah.
So it
so,
feels like I just met you a couple like a year ago, so.
Mm-hmm.
But Misty did truly drive, sometimes an hour and 15 minutes one way for a workout. So when I hear some of the excuses that I hear on a regular basis from people about
mm-hmm.
why they can't work out, she had a full-time job, she had 2 kids, she had a lot. She had a home to take care of, and she still fitted in. It was something she wanted. She really worked hard for it. And our workouts were typically 2 hours long, so every time she would drive out, she was there for at least 2 hours. Her work ethic was outstanding. And so when I would work with her, I just knew at some point I was going to have to ask her, have you ever considered being a personal trainer? Because you just don't see a person with that work ethic, that level of work ethic that often. And they always make a great trainer because they're contagious and they'll apply what they believe in and how passionate they are into someone else, and that's what I hoped, that she would do. Well, ultimately she did decide to become a personal trainer. And so I kind of want to go through our schedule and what we do, in terms of the workout, just so you can kind of get an idea. She doesn't have a show picked out right now or anything. This is just how we work out, and this is her schedule. So Misty, tell them when you work out and like which ones are with me and then which ones are on your own. Give them your schedule of your workouts. That's something she's been doing for a long time.
So I make it a priority to schedule my workouts every week. They're exactly the same. I put it in my calendar. I work my clients around it because I don't want that to slip. I don't want to slip in my working out, or just because I don't have a show. I always want to kind of stay right there ready. So every week is the same. Mondays and Tuesdays I work out on my own. Here at the gym for about 2 hours, and then Wednesdays I do a group with Debbie here, back and shoulders. Thursdays, legs, back and shoulders again on Friday. Saturdays is a big day for us. That's a 3-hour workout. Yeah. Arms, legs again, cardio class. And then Sundays is my rest day. So I make it a point, though, to have a rest day in my schedule, and it's always Sundays. I don't work out. I rest, which was a very hard thing to understand at the beginning. Right. But it's super important.
I would have to beg her, too.
Yeah.
Because
she's like, please rest. And I'm like, I don't want to rest.
But she would be leaner because of it. She needed the rest. Her body was just getting broken down. You need the rest. And so I guess just since we're on this topic, because we're going to hop from topic to topic this entire time, tell the people about, so when someone comes to you and says, why would you work out for 3 hours? Why would you work out for 2 hours? You're overtraining. You're just going to eat at your muscle. You're going to eat away your muscle. So what do you tell someone that tells you work out for too many hours? Because obviously if you train with me, at some point someone's going to tell you that I'm overtraining you.
And most people do think, wow, why do you work out so much?
Right.
And it's like, because I keep changing and I keep growing and I get stronger and I'm, have goals of doing shows, and it's clear that I've done very well, thankfully in the shows, and I don't overtrain. To me there's no such thing unless I was really starting to have issues, but I haven't ever experienced any issues for the amount of time that I train. But I also make it an important effort to make sure that my food is correct, my resting is correct, and all of that, so that I can train as long as I do. But it's like an hour of shoulders a day and an hour of back a day. That's a 2-hour workout, but I'm working 2 different body parts. Same with legs. I do train legs 3 times a week, but that's where I need the most improvement. And in the bodybuilding world, that's where I'm kind of scored on, honestly, with bikini. And so I want to make sure that I develop that, so I'm going to put that time in. But I don't ever feel like I'm, getting to lean at any point. I shouldn't, we have gotten to the point where I've cut back all my cardio
Right.
because I'm getting too lean and I want to focus that time on weight training.
Yes.
So we've done that. Last year, I don't think I did hardly any cardio prepping for my shows because I keep it so in tune.
Right.
You
right.
know, which is fine by me.
But there's been plenty of times where you have. I mean,
Right.
there were years where you did 4 sessions a week, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 4 sessions, 30 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, 4 sessions at 30 minutes a session. So there's been plenty of times where you have done cardio. But the thing is coming into the last year, you were able to just stay so conditioned that there wasn't this phase where it was like, oh, we have to drop weight now.
Right.
You know, so now it's time. It's the first of the year. Now we have to start getting Misty ready for her shows. So she's going to have to drop a bunch of weight. I mean, we were always, well, what are we looking at? Maybe 5 pounds?
Yeah.
You stay around 5 pounds from your stage weight?
Yeah.
And so many people say how unhealthy that is, that it's terrible for your metabolism, it's terrible for your thyroid, it's terrible, you just terrible. You can't stay that lean all year round. Well, she does, and she's not falling apart. She works 12-hour days almost every day that she works. And she also adds those workouts on top of it. She's able to stay this lean, and she's able to stay healthy, and she motivates and inspires people on a daily basis. So what do you say to people when they say, well, you know, you shouldn't stay that lean all year round? You know, I mean, you got to make sure you have an off season and an on season. What do you think about that?
I do think that there is an off season and an on season, and when it comes to your food, I kind of use it as, in my off season, we do like rewards, you know, or one cheat meal, you know, what we call it. But that's like one like a week, you know, and that's good. More so just mentally for me, not really physically. I don't feel like I need to go eat a bunch of junk food.
Right.
But mentally, it's just nice to kind of cut the pattern of eating the same thing all the time, which I tend to do, but that works for me, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
I realize some people aren't okay with eating the same thing every day, but I'm okay with that. But I don't want to work so hard and put my body through so much, you know, stress and, you know, trying to do hours of cardio to get off 20 pounds.
Right.
You know, I've noticed so many people will get on stage and they've worked so hard to get there, and then they get off stage and they instantly put on 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good. And then they said, oh, well, 12 weeks out, I got to do this again.
Right.
And so they just put their body through so much torture to try and get there, or they starve themselves.
Right.
Or they take all of these supplements, you know, fat burners and all of these things. That is what is hard on your body.
Absolutely.
Not staying just nice and consistent and lean throughout the year.
Right.
That's much easier on me, and I feel amazing doing that.
And I think that's the difference that people need to understand. What's truly damaging to your metabolism is when you do go through a dieting phase and you really do allow yourself to get that lean, and then you allow yourself to put on 15 pounds right afterwards, 20 pounds within a month. That is terrible for your metabolism. So that's what's breaking it. That's what's damaging it, not eating a clean diet all year round. You know, and you don't have to put poison and garbage in your body in order to stay healthy. It doesn't even make sense. It contradicts, you know, the whole concept of what we do for a living. However, it is okay for her to have an off meal. She doesn't get sick from them. She's learned what foods are better for her. There's some foods that kind of don't work as well. I mean, if she has a lot of sugar, she ends up not feeling good, you know, so she's kind of learned what her off meals need to be, but she has them. And then there comes a day where the shows are picked out, and then it's basically, okay, we're not going to have those anymore.
It's game on.
You know?
It's 100%. You got to do it for that time frame, you know?
And so when someone comes in and says, oh, I went ahead and had a cookie this weekend, you know, but they're training for a show. They're going to be on a stage in 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks. And say, oh, I went ahead and had a cookie, or I just couldn't help it. I went ahead and had ice cream with my kids. We were all out, and I just went ahead and it's only one scoop of ice cream. You know, like, what do you think when people say something like that? I mean, truly, we're here to be honest. So, I mean, what is your opinion on that? As a competitor, as a trainer, as a mother, what is your opinion on that?
it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me because I'm trying to get my clients to a goal that they've asked me to get them to. And it's even more frustrating because I do live that lifestyle. I walk that path with them every day. I know the struggles. I have 2 children. My house does have Oreo cookies and it does have all of that.
Temptation. Yeah.
Lots of temptations, but my frustration lies in, are you going to remember how you looked on that stage, or are you going to remember how that cookie tasted? Because there's going to be a difference, of eating those cookies and how you look on stage. And so I look at them, I'm like, why?
Right.
Why'd you do that?
Right.
Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, why?
Right.
So it's very hard for me as a trainer, as a competitor, to be sympathetic to that, because I'm like, you have a goal and you only have a short window of time to get there.
Yeah.
So don't throw it out the window.
Absolutely.
You got to stay 100%.
Right.
If you want to be successful, if you want to reach that goal, you cannot slip. You just cannot do it, because then you take days to recover from it, and that puts us days behind.
Right.
And that's how I look at it.
Well, and it's a whole different ballgame doing a show and just trying to get in shape, and just trying to look good and just trying to be healthy. Now, we train people all year round that don't do shows, but we still hold them accountable for their actions. I mean, even at a level of a bodybuilder, we expect our clients to do what they came in. They want a result. We expect them to do what we're suggesting them to do, or they won't get the result. So a lot of people come, in and they're motivated, and they're using a show as their motivation.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do a show because it's going to motivate me to get into great shape. Obviously, we know that I've done this for a long, long time, so there's going to be some subjects that I get more passionate about than others, and this is one of them. I grew up in a different era of bodybuilding, much different from what I see today. And I grew up around folks that, I grew up in the junior high going to George Turner's gym, and then in high school going to George Turner's gym, and then going to Powerhouse and basically being at Powerhouse. And I still see 65 and 70-year-old bodybuilders that I saw when I was growing up that were competitive bodybuilders, and they look phenomenal still at 65 to 70 years old. And when I watched them in the gym, it was like a craft. It was like an art form, what they put into their workouts and how committed they were. And they had absolutely no problem being there for multiple hours. And they stretched, and they really put a lot of effort into it. And when I saw them eat, it was real food, whole food, not a bunch of powders, not a bunch of pills, not a bunch of garbage. It was literally meat and eggs, and a lot of them did ketogenic diets, and it was a very different world. Now bodybuilding is so unique. It's a bunch of people that really want to get in shape, and they really want to show off on a stage, and then the next thing you know it, the next week, or the next year, they haven't even been to the gym, or they're eating Fruit Loops, or they're eating Pop-Tarts. I'm not into that. I just don't, that doesn't inspire me. It doesn't motivate me. I don't jump out of bed to work with someone like that. I jump out of bed to work with someone like Misti because she's made this an art form. She's done it. She's done what I grew up watching be done. She's taken bodybuilding and she's made it a sport, and she's become an athlete. And so I guess my thought is, if you're using a show as your motivation, when the show's over, where are you? What's left? So what would you say to someone if they came in and they said, I really want to lose weight, so I'm going to use this show as my motivation to do it. And you don't have to have the same opinion as me, because like I said, we both know there's some things that I definitely have gone through the school of hard knocks of just the years of working in that type of industry and just watching things,
Right, yeah. So when people come to me and they're like, maybe it's a bucket list thing. They're like, I want to get in shape, and I'm going to use this show on this date to get there. And I'm like, okay, trying to first calculate how many weeks do we have to do this?
Yeah.
Because some people just think if they take a show and they're like, that's what I'm going to do, but they've never trained or they've never eaten, how they're supposed to eat. It's just like, whoa, well, okay, we'll try.
Right.
But it's always good to have that date, that goal, whether it's a vacation or a show or whatever, you're getting married or I don't know, but specifically for shows, because that's how I can relate to people, it's good to have that pull of, okay, I only have 100 days left, I only have 80 days left, I only have this left, and you work harder and harder and harder because that goal gets, here quicker. But how I live my lifestyle and how I try to get all of my clients, competitors or not, is I want people to create a lifestyle, and not just kill themselves or work so hard until they reach that goal and then just throw it out throw it out the window. I'm done now. I reached my goal. Right. So I want to make it a lifestyle. So I do it in a way that you can sustain it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say, well, we got to do this, this, and this, and this. We should do it this way. And if we reach that goal, great. If not, we might have to go for the next show or the next show. Right. But I have to make it a lifestyle, and that acts as motivation, but I try and find my motivation elsewhere other than that date. Right. I feel great. I look great. I have energy to work 12 hours a day. Yes. I have energy to take care of my children. I have energy to take care of my clients and motivate them outside of this gym. So I want it to be a lifestyle, not just that date.
Yeah. And I think what's also important to recognize is that when you just create this date and you're hyper motivated, you do everything you can to get into that position to where you're ready for that date, and then the date's over with, and then your ship sinks and you're not doing anything anymore. Mm-hmm. How damaging is that to your system? It's very damaging. Mm-hmm. When you suddenly go from hyper exercise to nothing, or to a couple hours a week, it's very damaging to your system. So you don't want to do that. That's why the metabolism will crash. That's another reason why. So I guess to me, what I think is more important than motivation is discipline. And that's what, with Misti, I feel like over the past several years, it's been about just teaching and showing and creating patterns of discipline. Mm-hmm. She's had to say, okay, like in the beginning, she didn't have quite as many clients, but she had another job, and then she had the kids, and she had this. So we had to put things in place to make it to where she could get cardio in, she could get the workouts in, she could get the food in. There was never a, well, I'm just really tired after that long of a day with 2 jobs and then my kids. It was always just, you're going to have to do it here. You know what I mean?
I made that choice to do it.
Right. Right. And then it was, as each season changed with her life, suddenly different levels of discipline had to change. Mm-hmm. And so as personal trainers, what we try to do is to of course motivate people and inspire them. That's part of our job, but more importantly, we really try to teach them discipline. And so what does discipline look like to you, Misti? Like in your personal life, what do you have to do to be disciplined? Like, what does it take? What's discipline to Misti?
That's kind of a hard thing to put into words. I've always been a hard worker, and when I set my mind to something, I just do it. And I'm not the type that likes to fail at much, and so I'm going to do whatever it takes to do it. And it's not like I'm going to wake up and say, what do I feel like doing today? Mm-hmm. Do I feel like doing an hour of cardio? Do I feel like doing an hour of legs? I wake up more so with the mindset of, I have to do this today. This is what I have to do to be a trainer. This is what I have to do to be a competitor. This is what I have to do to be a mom. This is how I need to do the chores in my house. I wake up with the mindset that this is what I have to do today. Yes. Versus, what do I feel like? Or, I have a headache, or it's early, I just try to get out of that, mindset and say, nope, this is what I'm going to do because I want to be successful and I want to, take care of everything that needs to be taken care of. And I don't make excuses. Yeah. Because it's so easy to make an excuse, and it's like, that's, to me, and I hear them all day long of all the excuses that everybody has. Right. And I do understand life happens and things happen and out of your control, but on a regular, normal day basis, you have that control. You just make that choice to be disciplined. Right. Whether you kind of like it or not. Yeah. Because some days I'm like, nah, I don't want to. Right. I don't. At 3:45, when my alarm goes off, I'm like, no, I don't really want to, but I get up and I do it.
Right.
And then I'm very happy that I did so.
Absolutely.
It's worth it.
And I think, like an example, she schedules her workouts, and her Wednesday back and shoulder workout is at the same time every week. Her Thursday leg workout is at the same time. Friday, Saturday. This is scheduled. Monday, Tuesday, all of this. It doesn't change. It's easier to be disciplined when you're organized. It's easier to be disciplined when you put things in place to be creating a habit on something. So, with her food, this will be the day that she goes to the grocery store. Yeah. This is going to be the day that she's going to prep it. She doesn't just wake up on Tuesday morning and realize she no longer has any zucchini. She knew on Sunday she needed zucchini. She made the zucchini. Yeah. Would there be other things you'd rather do than make the zucchini? Of course.
Well, yeah.
But you take the time to do it because you're going to need it all week long, and that's what's going to get you through that week.
Well, there's sometimes I've gotten off work at 9 p.m. at night, and I'm like, oh, I don't have any zucchini. And I take my little butt to the Walmart and I get my zucchini, even though it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm exhausted.
Yes.
But I know that I have to have my food, and so even though I don't want to, I still do it.
Yeah.
And it pays off. That's the part where everybody's like, I don't feel like it, but okay. But it's going to pay off, and you'll get your rest, and it will all, it's worth it.
Right.
It's worth it to me.
That's what we say all the time. When we, as a team at Integrity, we will work really hard at trying to change a person's life and doing all that we can to inspire them and to draw people in to help them to understand that there's a life-altering experience that can go on when you change your food and when you change your exercise. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, when we get a result from someone, we share that as a group with a team, our team of trainers, and we'll show a picture, or this person's lost this, or this person no longer has psoriasis, or this person got off their blood pressure medication in 2 weeks, or something like that. And then at the end, we always say it's worth it. So it's worth it to get up at 3:45 in the morning. It's worth it to schedule our workouts. It's worth it to get that food in, because it makes it to where she's better in all areas of her life. The discipline that she has and the work ethic that she has for her workouts makes her a better trainer. And it's made her a better parent, and it's made her better in all areas of her life. And what often happens with bodybuilding, it can be a relationship disruptor because people get so narrowed with the deal. And it's gym and bodybuilding, and then suddenly they're about to lose their job, and then suddenly they're about to break up with the in the relationship they're in, because nothing else matters.
Right.
The only thing they can find time for is that, and they're tired, so they go home and take naps instead of going to work, or they do this and that. And it's you can't, if you can't do everything else that you need to do and do bodybuilding, you shouldn't be doing bodybuilding.
Exactly, and that's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
Absolutely.
Because not everybody can, with whatever schedule they have, or their children, and that's okay, but if you're wanting, I have that expectation. Well, this is what you got to do. A, B, C, and D. There's nothing in between.
Right. Absolutely. And I guess, what we typically see when it comes from a competitor perspective is we see people in seasons of their life where they really just want to take themselves to a different level. They want to test the parameters and see if they can kind of break out of a mold that they've been in.
Just see if they can.
Yeah, for a long period of time. Why have a personal trainer, Misty? What was the difference? What made the difference with why do you work out with me to, let's see, what is it, 2, 4, 6, 9 hours a week? Why do you work out with me 9 hours a week? What's not just me, but why? Why do it?
I feel like I still need that push. And, like I said, not every day I feel like it, but as long as I just show up, you're going to make me do things that I'm not going to want to do. But because you're there, you're going to, you're going to push me, and you're going to encourage me and support me and motivate me and all the things that you need in your life to become successful. And so I keep coming back to you and saying, okay, I still want to keep going, even though I know what to do and I know how to do it. I need her to be like, this is what you're going to do. And there's times in the workout where I'm like, really? Like, really? You want me to do that? Like, why? Like, why are you going to make me do that? You know?
Right.
And she's like, you're going to do it that. And then I'm like, I can't do that. And then she's like, yes, you can. And then I do it.
Yeah.
And then my body changes. And then I'm stronger. And then I feel better. And, you know, and I always leave just thanking her. Thank you for killing me. You know, that was great.
And I'm always thankful to have done it. You know, I mean, it's outstanding to work with hard workers. And as a personal trainer at Integrity and at Powerhouse, all of my years of personal training, I can say that I have worked with some of the hardest working people there is. I mean, my clients just give it their all.
Yeah, we have some amazing
just
people
incredible. And it does not matter if they're bodybuilders. It does not matter what age they are. It does not matter what size they are. I mean, sincerely, you know, my clients that need to lose 100 pounds work right alongside Misty.
Yes.
And, you know, my clients that are, you know, in 17 years old and trying to get a scholarship work right alongside Misty. You know, it's every age group, it's every situation, and they all inspire each other to work even harder, you know. So
that's something I've learned through the years of being here at Integrity and working with you and my clients is the number one thing to being successful with your health, whatever your goal is you have to surround your people with people that are going to get you there.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. You need a team to get you there, you know, and that is what we do here. You know, if you're having a bad day, you just don't feel like it. We have people text me like, I'm going to go eat this. And we're like, no, you're not.
Right. It's
you know,
team texting.
Exactly.
No.
You know, like, no, where are you? I'm going to come find you, you know?
Right.
But that is what I've learned. And that's why I keep doing it is because I need that team. I need that support, and we have these group classes, and we, you know, are all amongst each other of all different levels, of all different goals, but we all get each other to whatever goal has been set.
Right, and we hold each other to a higher standard.
Right.
You know, and I know as a trainer, I have very high expectations of you guys, and there are times where I have to walk away and I know that you guys are ready to throw something at me, kick at me, curse at me, and I have to walk away confidently and know that I'm just doing my job and that you came to me and I should give you the very best, you know, for what you're paying for. And I have to be willing to take you a little bit further than your comfort zone.
Exactly.
You know, I really do.
It's that saying, nothing great has ever come from a comfort zone.
Right.
And that's our job. That's your job with me is to get myself out of that comfort zone and achieve more, you know, because that's what I'm trying to do is I'm always trying to become better every day, not just for myself in the competitive world, but for my clients, for my children, lead by example, you know. Yeah. I have my son now coming in here in weight training. Like, what? Right. He is like
I mean, and your daughter, she's always,
she's always
she was
been
like
here.
8, you know, and you're, you know, ready to be a personal trainer. So I'm trying to figure out how at some point she'll end up taking over the business, her daughter, because she's going to be a personal trainer. I just know it. But she, you know, back to the team perspective, that was, you said it right before I could even say it. You need a team, and there's multiple layers of that team. One layer of it is your personal trainer, the coach that you're working with, the person that, you know, is helping you with your nutrition. Right. In Misty's case, we're doing both together, you know, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you have a personal trainer and then you have someone who's working with you on your food, which a lot of her clients are like that, you know, they kind of have a dual layer of accountability with the two of us. And then you've got a chiropractor that'll help, you know, kind of keep you aligned. You have a massage therapist that's going to make it to where all this work that you're doing is getting worked out of you. You know, you're going to have a place like O'Fallon Nutrition that you're going to be able to go to, and they're going to take care of making sure you get the right vitamins and the right minerals and the right electrolytes and just the balance. You need a team like that. But then there's the secondary team. There's the people in your life that won't let you quit.
Exactly.
Won't let you give up. There's the people in your life that believe in you, you know, that help you hone your craft, you know, and that they just cheer you on from the sidelines. So talk to me about that. Like, give me your perspective on that, because we work with a lot of clients and they don't always have that. Right. You know, I just met with a couple today, and the wife is so willing to do whatever it takes. She looks phenomenal, and she's like, I'll cut out bread, I'll cut out pasta if it helps him. You know what I mean? Well, most people don't have that. You know what I mean? And most people don't need that. But talk to me about that. Like, how has your team, you know, in your life, how have they helped get you to where you are?
Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, the team, they're there to help you, encourage you, and motivate you, because there have been many times through the years of doing this that I've thought about quitting. You know, I don't want, like, I just don't think it's going to be worth it anymore. You know, what am I doing this for? You know, it takes time.
Right.
It takes money.
Right.
It takes, all of this stuff. And then at the end of the day, I'm quickly reminded of, okay, it does take time, it does take money, but then what else are you gaining from it?
Right.
You know, I'm like, you're right. You know, I'm gaining friendships, I'm gaining health, I'm gaining strength, I'm gaining a career. You know, it's just amazing when you actually sit down and write down on a piece of paper the things that make it worth it. You know, this is why I won't quit. And then we turn around and this is why we won't let you quit. Because it will be worth it, and we're going to show you all the things that you're going to benefit from it. But yes, it will take time. It will be hard. You know, you will have to sacrifice, you know, what people call sacrificing. But then you realize after a while, it's not a sacrifice anymore. You know, it's like this is what you wake up and choose to do, and you sacrifice all the other stuff that probably isn't worth it. But like I said, I've come to her many times like, you know, I think I'm just, you know, maybe I should just, you know, I don't think I've ever said the words, you know, I'm gonna quit, you know, but she'll text me every day, we're not quitting, you're not quitting, like, what? Like, you know.
There was like a 3-month period of time I text you, don't quit.
Like every day.
Yeah.
You know, because things happen in life, you know, big or small.
Don't give up, don't quit,
you
something
know,
like that.
It really wants to discourage you no matter what it is, and it's just like, I don't have time for that, or I don't have money for that, you know, and it's just like, you need to keep going. And so the team is what keeps you going, you know, and they give you all the reasons why you should. And everybody has a different why. I have my why, you have your why, my clients have their why. As long as you know what that why is, you know, we're going to understand it, and we're going to get you through, like much like you've done for me now for 4 years. You know, 4 years, you know.
And it's, you know, my team that I rely on to be able to come in here and motivate her every day. What keeps me strong as a coach and as a trainer and as a business owner and as, you know, a mom, and, you know, I'm going to be getting married, and, you know, I have a lot of responsibility, but I also have to have a team that keeps me going so that I can keep her going. But at the end of the day, if one of those members of my team, if they're not motivating me and they're not giving me what I need from them, or you know, if my chiropractor's never available anymore and he can't help me, and suddenly my massage therapist, I gotta go to a different one, this isn't working out, and then, you know, let's say my fiance doesn't have time to work out with me anymore, and then, well, now my daughter has gymnastics, and so I on Wednesdays I can't do this anymore. None of that matters. You know, my goal and my inspiration and my achieving of those can't come based off of them. It can't come based off of their circumstances. The team is there to support you, but you and your discipline is what's ultimately going to get you through it. You know, so at the end of the day, there are going to be times when our clients, you know, in situations where our clients will be in situations where they're going to kind of say, I don't know, my husband's just, I mean, he's not into this, or my wife, she's just, you know, she's eating all this junk food around me and I'm just not motivated anymore, or my kids just have so many things going on, and, you know, I just don't see how I can do this. There's going to be parts of your team that are not always going to be there to motivate you. They're not always going to be there to inspire you, but you have to do it whether you're motivated or inspired or not. You know, I mean, you have to not rely on the motivation again, like we said, but you've got to rely on the discipline. And just waking up and continuing to do it every single day. Yeah,
I mean, you set that goal, you know.
You just
There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to achieve it. You know? There really shouldn't be.
And I think beyond the goal of a show, the biggest goal that Misti has set is to make the decision to live a healthy lifestyle. And to have the desire to be able to show her kids that, and to be in a position to where she can change people's lives every single day. But the biggest tool she uses is her example and how she walks it out in front of people every single day. So although she has goals for shows and, for trophies and different placements, her biggest goal is that, and that's a lifestyle change and maintaining that lifestyle change. And it's a sincere pleasure to watch her maintain that lifestyle change. And, if you see, every now and again, you'll see on Facebook where people will post and just say, Misty, you're an amazing athlete, or you're such a committed person, because she is. And she works at it every single day. And it makes it to where someone like myself, who's a trainer, it doesn't matter. There's been days where I would have the whole entire day off. I had cancels all day. Some came up, and I would drive in to work for 2 hours and to train her for 2 hours, or I would drive all the way down to Powerhouse in the snow for an hour there and an hour back, because I knew she was going to show up. You know what I mean? It was like, I'm going. Like, I'm going to go if she's going. Like, how can I not go? She's going. You know what I mean? And so, I'm more disciplined because I want to help her to be able to maintain that lifestyle, Now, from a dieting perspective, or just the general dynamics of diets, what's your opinion on the eat for your macro diet, where you can kind of so let's just go through some of the current things,
Right.
There's ketogenic diets, there's eat for your macro diets, there's, the paleo style diet. There's so many different types of diets, but I feel like from a bodybuilding perspective, what you hear the most about is I'm eating, within my macros. And so what's your take on that?
When I first started or decided to compete, I actually did try the, if it fits your macros. And I had all my numbers, and I would work it in my Fitness Pal, and but to me it allowed for too much junk, is what I call it, too much sugar, and I would fit all that in. I'm like, well, if I have this amount and I could eat this, and then maybe not eat until dinner because I still have numbers left, and I just feel like it leaves too much room to not do it the healthy way.
Right.
I really do. I never realized how much sugar that I consumed on a daily basis, even though I was dieting.
Yeah.
I was like, I eat a lot of sugar, and Debbie here really taught me about sugar and what it does to your body. And I'm like, what? Let's just meal plan, not worry about numbers. Let's just worry about what I'm putting in my body, like from every vitamin to mineral to vegetable to protein, like anything. But let's not even worry about numbers. And man, when I took all that sugar out, and when I started meal planning and eating exactly what I was supposed to eat every single day, that is when my body went through the biggest change, biggest change. And, I'm talking about for the competitive world. Yes, I know not everybody, is a competitor.
Sure. Totally
fine. But for my goals and what I was doing, I had never felt better. I felt satisfied and didn't feel depleted. I felt, like, this is so mumuch food,
right.
And as we got closer to show, she's shoving more food down me,
right.
But it was all healthy.
Right.
And I think it was like a 6-month period to even the 6-week transformation that we did in that 1 year.
You should post pictures of those so people can see. It's pretty phenomenal.
Changed a few things, and in 6 weeks you could tell a huge difference. So
yes.
Not that I knock if it fits your macros, but I kind of do. I do because I've tried it.
Right.
And because I've known people who have done it, and because I know the stuff that they eat while on it. That's just from a personal experience. I just don't think that it is the best way, the healthiest way.
Right.
To get to a goal,
yes. It's not a good long-term solution.
Long-term, sustainable. I just don't think that is, the best way. There's too much room to keep putting what I call poison in your body, and that keeps you from really healing yourself from the inside out. Because it's not all about what you look like on the outside either. Right. It's about how is your insides working. Yeah. And how do you feel? Yeah. I may look great, but if I don't feel great, then I don't want to have any part of it.
Right. And you got to think about, so what what am I taking in with these foods? So, if you're not looking at the ingredients, and it does fit in within a macronutrient, profile, and you're suddenly taking in all these sweeteners and all these different products that you don't even really have any idea what they're doing, but then suddenly you start experiencing symptoms. Maybe you start having gut issues, maybe you start having some extra joint pain, or maybe you start getting headaches, or maybe you have skin issues, or maybe you're getting breakouts, and it's like, where's this coming from?
Right.
It's like, why am I getting this stuff? You got to start looking at what's inside your food, and why. And I think that was a real shift for Misty. Was she just, really pulled out all sweeteners. She really, for the most part, it just, like when you were close for when we were actually training for a show, it was nothing like that. You just really just ate real good, clean, whole food.
You just stripped it down. And that's when everything changed for me.
Yeah.
You strip it down.
Yeah.
I don't take supplements at all. Like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she doesn't. And you get the folks that they want to be able to have their spark every day. And then they want to be able to have, this coffee with this syrup in there. And then they want to be able to have this and that kind of thing. The sugar-free this or the sugar-free that. And it's like, no, there's something in that. She's eating meat and vegetables and fat, so she might have MCT oil, she might have olive oil, or just good quality vegetables, and then a good quality carbohydrate source like oatmeal, when she has a starch, or maybe brown rice or something like that. But not everybody's body is set up to where it can have all those nutrients. If I ate Misty's diet, I would gain weight, and I have several clients that would, but if Misty ate my diet, she wouldn't do well. She did not do well on a diet like mine. So, a lot of people will say, well, is the only diet that Debbie, does Debbie only do a ketogenic diet? Is that the only diet that she does if you work with her? And it's like, well, no. Misty eats carbs every day, so.
My thing with the nutrition plan and why, like, you do the, 5-month program is you have to give yourself time to learn how your body operates, is what I call it, because we've tried all sorts of things and we keep tweaking it, well, okay, this is kind of happening, so let's try this, but you have to stick with it.
Yep.
You can't just go to somebody and be like, I want to do a show, can I have a meal plan, please?
Right.
Here's your diet, go have fun.
Right.
It honestly doesn't work that way.
No.
You have to learn, how does my body respond to this particular food or this particular food?
Right.
And over 4 years, you and I have perfected that so well that I know instantly, like, what's going to work, what's not going to work. Almost it's clockwork, which is kind of awesome. I like that. I like knowing that. I don't like going every day guessing, is this going to work? Or what if I eat this? What will it do? Or add this or this amount. But the problem is people want it now.
Yeah.
They want it now. They want to be skinny now. They want to have muscles now. They, they want to feel good now. But you have to give it time. Yeah. And you have to be consistent, and you have to trust somebody. Like I trust Debbie, with my food. I'm not bouncing around saying, well, what do you do? I'm going to try what you do, or what do you do? Just like she said, I train among competitors here, and we all have different diets. All of us. Every single one of us has a different meal plan.
Right.
And that's okay. Right. But, I get oatmeal everybody's like, what? But I need it.
Right.
My body needs that starch. And so, but you learn that.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. It's like, here's your cookie cutter diet for your 12-week program to get to stage. And I'm like, okay.
And, the thing, like, let's say you're trying to have something fit within a macronutrient profile, and because it fits in your numbers, you go ahead and have it. But what you don't understand is those foods can be trigger foods. And that trigger food, even something as simple as chewing gum, that trigger food is going to keep you hungry all throughout the day, and it's going to be why you fail at some point. It's going to change your brain. It's going to ignite your brain, change your neurotransmitter levels, and it's going to make it to where you're going to end up making choices or decisions that you wish that you wouldn't have made. And it's going to cause you to want sugar, more. And so it's more so that you're not getting that trigger on a daily basis. Even just chewing gum.
Yeah, which was odd. She told me that like years ago, and I'm like, what? I'm not giving up chewing gum. And I did. And it took maybe 2 weeks to kind of get past that habit of doing so. And it changed. Like, I didn't have the cravings. I didn't want it. Like, it was weird.
Yeah.
But I haven't had gum probably in like 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people will come in and they'll chew a pack of gum a day.
Yeah.
I mean,
because
sincerely.
they just want to curb their appetite. And I'm like, actually, you're making it worse.
Yes, you really
you
are.
know, even though it says sugar-free and all this stuff like that, it has artificial sweeteners, and then that triggers, you know, your insulin production. So you're like, I need something, something.
Yeah.
Or I'm hungry in an hour, you know. I learned that. It's true, believe me.
Or drinks, Vitamin Water Zero, Gatorade, or Powerade Zero, or something like that. You know, those drinks do the same exact thing. They're going to trigger the same exact thing. So you've got to be cautious with those as well. There's things like branched chain amino acids, glutamine, crealkaline. Those are supplements that, you know, you've taken.
Yeah.
But she doesn't take fat burners. I mean, she's never, you know, she
No
doesn't take a whole bunch of,
or...
nothing like that. You know, no igniters to try to get her, you know, metabolism, you know, speedy or anything like that. Just healthy branched chain amino acids and glutamine. Crealkaline during the time when she's, you know, training for a show, she'll take that up until 2 weeks before your show.
A week before.
Okay, and then just cut it out, and then there'll be maybe like a 1 pound water drop from cutting that out. You know, maybe 2 pound water drop, and then she's ready to go. But it just helps to keep her muscles full the entire time. Now, again, that's not always going to work for everybody.
Right.
There are certain competitors that we work with together, and if I put them on Crealkaline, it just wouldn't be good. They would really swell, and it could take a couple weeks to get the swelling off, and that wouldn't be good going into a show. So you just really have to have someone that's willing to learn and know and understand. So usually when I personally work with someone on nutrition, I want time with them. And if they're super aggressive and super, you know, quick about picking a show, and it's kind of too soon for what I think that their body is showing us, I'll just be honest, and I'll just say, I just don't think that's the right show for you. You're not going to be able to go into this with the healthiest approach possible, and why do it? You know, why do it if you're not? You know, so I think the hope today would be to just help you to understand that, you know, this is a person who has a full-time job, and not just a full-time job. This is a person that gets here at 5 in the morning, and in most cases doesn't leave until 8 o'clock at night, and gets her workout in during the day as well. It's a person that has 2 children. She makes the sacrifice and invests in a personal trainer and someone who does nutrition as well. She just walks it out, and that's who Misti is. That's who a lot of our clients are, and they're very willing to do the work. And there's a way to be healthy all year round, but the key to that is going to be reading your ingredients and knowing and understanding what you're taking into your body, but also discipline. And what I've always told Misti is that shows are won and lost in the off season. So the off season to me matters more than the season. You know, Misti just kind of ice skates into the show. It's not like we just start killing her right before the show. She's killing it the entire time, all year round, you know, so it's not like she has this, you know, 5-week period where we're just destroying her. She's just getting hard. She's working hard the whole entire time. You know, I mean, what was that leg workout last week that you did that was just you and I? I mean, it was
terrible.
It was terrible.
What it was.
Right.
It was
terrible.
She couldn't even look at me anymore because it was so terrible.
We had to do it was 50 reps with 1 plate, and then it was 40 reps with 2 plates, and then it was 30 reps with 3 plates, right? That was 1 set on the leg press. And then you had to go do box jumps, I think, and then something else. Yeah, broad jumps and something else.
Jumping squats.
Right, and she had to do 4 full sets of that. So, I mean, there's no date. She hasn't given me a date of a show yet, and that's how hard she's working. That's how hard she works with every leg workout.
Well, because I might want to do a show, you know, and I want to make my off-season show in my show.
Right.
You know, that's where you change.
Right.
That's where you grow.
Yes.
You know, and
yes.
You know, I want to pick a show and be like, okay, I have 12 weeks, and now I need to try not to lose more weight type of thing going into a show versus I have to lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks. Right. You know? Yeah. That's how, you know, because I don't like cardio.
Right. Well, and, you know, and the thing is it was a process. So, you know, you don't, and again, she's not doing this, but you don't want to look at cardio as this bad thing. Like, oh, I was able to do this without doing cardio. You know, you see people saying that all the time. Cardio is a great thing, but she does cardio. She does cardio classes with me where she's doing burpees and crunches and all kinds of stuff. So she does that, but she doesn't really have to get on a piece of equipment for any amount of minutes or to do HIIT training or anything, you know, for 20 minutes. Because she stays within 5 pounds of her stage weight or 6-7 pounds of her stage weight.
Yes, so I mean, some of our leg workouts are very cardio-based anyways. I'm like, this feels like cardio.
Right, exactly. Or our arm workout the other day. I mean, she had to do 100 rope slams with every set or 100 jump ropes. Our shoulder workouts, she always has to do jump ropes or ropes. So there's always cardio involved, but the difference is, the reason why she's not doing 5 sessions of cardio a week is because I don't have to get that fat off of her.
Right.
But that wasn't always the case.
No.
There was a time where we were working on getting some older fat off of her. And yeah, you would look at her and say, where was that fat? I mean, but it was our job to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and no, we got to get some cardio in so that we can get that off. And we did. She did the cardio, you know, and there was plenty of times where she was doing 3-4 sessions a week on the stairs or on a 30 incline treadmill, you know, that she was walking. So you can't, you know, the goal isn't to go through a show prep without doing cardio. You see a lot of people saying that. I look this great and I didn't do cardio. Well, she does cardio every day in some way, shape, or form. She's in great shape. She could probably outrun anybody in the gym. She's in great shape. She's an athlete. So saying that about cardio, it just doesn't make sense because you're supposed to be an athlete. To be on stage and to be posing like that, you should be challenge yourself to be probably one of the best athletes in the gym. That's what bodybuilding is. Bodybuilding is being an athlete. It's not just showing up and looking good, you know, and just configuring the science around a macronutrient profile to where you can look good enough to be able to win a show. But then what do you do for those next 6 months? So, you know, really just take all those factors into consideration. So what would you say to someone who, you know, is about to do a show and they've never posed with anyone? No one's ever taught them how to pose. And so they're kind of teaching themselves how to pose. So talk to them about that, because I obviously have a strong opinion on that.
Yeah, which I do as well. I think posing is huge in bodybuilding, in the shows. It can make you or break you. You know, you could go out there with the best physique, but if you can't present it correctly and with confidence, it's really going to hurt you. Right. So posing is, as much, I think, is almost as important, almost as weight training.
Right.
You know, you got to put the time in, and you got to practice, and you got to be confident, and you got to hire somebody to help you get there. You know, and make sure that you are doing it correctly. And you know, I teach posing. You've taught posing, because it is. I've gone to shows, and I think that I might not have had the best physique, but I went out there and I just posed my little heart out, and I won, you know, and because it's the complete package. It's just how do you look on stage, you know, and you got to make sure that you can display it right, you know. If you change your body just a little bit, you can give it a whole new look. Yeah. So anyway, posing is so important. Yeah. So you need to spend the time. As long as it takes you to prep for a show, that's how long you need to also pose. Oh, yes. For a show.
Absolutely.
You know, there's not just that week of, kind of learn those poses and practice.
Or even 4 weeks before.
You know, I highly recommend you take that 12 weeks, that 16 weeks, and you start getting help with it and guidance with it. Have somebody else watch you, you know. It's so important, you know.
And I can remember, like I talked about, my old approach to bodybuilding, where I always talk about, growing up and what I witnessed. But I can remember guys, they would work out for 2 hours, 2 hours, and you would see them over in the corner finishing with 30 minutes of posing. Yeah. They would just hold. And they were by themselves, and no one was yelling at them for them. And then another guy would have a coach, and he'd be telling, but they took the time to pose, and they would do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, you don't realize that sometimes these people, myself, these bodybuilders, figure girls, sometimes you're on stage for 5 minutes, but sometimes you're on stage for 30 minutes. Yeah. having to hold these poses.
Right.
You know, you start to shake,
Yes.
you're nervous,
Yes.
you're depleted, kind of, you know, haven't had water or whatever, you know, you do for your show. And so you got to put in the time to make it look good.
Yeah. There's an
stage.
endurance. There's a muscular endurance that's involved with that. So there's so many details when it comes to having a perfect package on the stage. And if you're not willing to pay attention to all of those details, all that fine tuning, all of that, why do it?
Right.
So really put out the effort if you're going to do it. And if you're going to do it, hire someone that knows what they're doing. She just told you earlier that we've done 17 shows together, 17 shows, but she's done more than that, without me, but together we've done 17 shows. So if you're thinking about doing a show, call someone who's done it, who's really gone through the experience and really knows and understands, and if your coach is not able to teach you posing, call Misty. Get in here and start posing with her. You need someone that's going to be able to show you how to pose, and you need to really practice it every single day.
Right.
And get your food right. If you're 90% on your food, if you're 75% on your food, you're not there.
Right.
It's not an option if you're a competitor. You have to be 100% if you're a competitor.
And a lot of people, you still get on stage, and that's fine. You still can go, and do the show, but you have to ask yourself, do you want to be your best?
Right.
And if you want to be your best, you have to be dedicated. You have to be committed 100%. Because who wants to go and look at yourself, a year from now or 2 years from now and be like, you know what, I didn't do it 100%.
Yeah.
You're only going to regret that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we close, Misty, anything that you would like to talk, just tell someone who's thinking about doing a show, anything you'd like to talk to them or tell them about from an integrity perspective or just your experience as a competitor?
The thing I always like to talk about, because I've been doing it so long, and then also with you and the integrity team, and when it comes to competing, is you gotta love it. And if you don't love it, and you don't have fun with it, and you aren't committed to it, don't do it.
Right.
That's my thing. Everybody thinks that, I've decided to do this and now I have to do it, even though I'm not doing it very well, but I still got to do it, and I'm not having fun with it. I'm crying and I'm so stressed out, or it's just don't do it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Right.
But if you want to, and you come to me or you come to Debbie or both of us, and you want this, we're going to have, like you said, high expectations, and we're going to push you, and we're going to challenge you, and we're going to get you to that goal and put you out there the best you can, because that's what I do, and that's what I want for myself, and I walk that path, and I want to walk that path with my client, and so it needs to be 100%, but you got to have the heart to do it. And if, like I've always said, if you're not having fun, then don't do it.
It'll show up on stage if you're not having fun.
Yeah.
It just will.
I love it, and I keep going because I love it.
Right.
And I think if I lost that passion for it, that drive, you would see it.
Yeah.
My body wouldn't be the best it would be.
Right.
I wouldn't feel as good. I'd probably be really mean to you.
Right. Like Monica is.
Right.
Yeah, like that, yeah.
But it's about heart, because in the competitive world, you have to understand that you can inspire many people, and that is something that is really intriguing to me. I'm like, wow, I inspired this person to do that because I'm doing this, and or I'm walking, this path, and that is actually what motivates me to keep doing it, and that just makes me very happy to help somebody else reach that goal. But you gotta love it, because there are people you either don't or you do,
right,
and that's okay.
Right.
But love it. If you don't, then pick a different goal, and that's okay.
Right.
Just focus on being healthy and living that lifestyle, but don't compete if you don't love it.
Right. And when Misty is on stage, you don't have any doubt in your mind that she is having a blast. Yeah. We have a competitor here, Greg, and when he's on stage, there's just no question. He's having a great time. I mean, you're almost laughing while you're watching him.
I am.
Because he's just
laughing.
Having such a good time.
And Greg's watching.
Right. I mean,
right
you're just so happy for him that he's doing what he's doing. And it's the same with her. When she does her T-walk, I mean, you can just see like the bounce in her step. It's like she's just finally getting to show all that she's worked so hard for, all that she's given. And so, if you don't have that approach to it, and you don't have that heart, you don't have that desire, and it's very anxiety driven, and it's really causing you a whole lot of stress, I would not recommend bodybuilding. Right. I really wouldn't, and there's always going to be seed planters, so let's say you go to Misty for training, you come to me for your nutrition, you're going to end up going to your gym outside of our gym or somewhere else, and there's always going to be somebody that's going to say, they're starving you, or you need to eat more oatmeal, or you have to take creatine, or you have to do this, or you have to do that, or you're not doing this enough,
or why
are you doing that? You know what I mean? Like
that's the question I always
looking
get.
Too skinny.
Why are you doing
that's
that to
actually
yourself?
A compliment if they say that.
Yeah.
You're starting to look the way you should if they tell you you're looking unhealthy. That usually means they're just not happy with themselves. But you're going to have seed planters, and they're going to try to get you off track. So you're either going to have to go in with your headphones on full blast and not listen to anything anyone says, or you're going to have to find a way to surround yourself around people that are committed to a like-minded, similar goal, and you're going to have to be willing to choose who you're going to follow.
Right.
So probably one of the most important things I can suggest to someone that wants to be a bodybuilding show. Make a choice. Am I going to train with Misty? Am I going to do nutrition with Debbie? Or whoever it is you're working with.
Whoever. And
then that's it. That's Bible. For the next 6 months, for the next 5 months, what they say is what you're going to do. I don't care what bodybuilding.com says. I don't care what the top, number one Olympian says. I don't care what the guy at the Stairmaster said. I don't care what the guy at the supplement store said. You do what you paid for someone to give you the advice to do, and they'll get you where you need to go.
That's the thing. You got to trust the process, and do it 100%, and that's what I've noticed with the competitors that are in this gym with us, is, we do that. Yeah. And we rely on you or me, with this nutrition or the training. You just trust the process, and we'll get you there. Yeah. And
if you decide to do a plan with one person and do a training session with one person and kind of follow that, but then you kind of take a little bit from what such and such said and a little bit from what this magazine article said, and then you've been kind of talking to this guy online and his ideas, you're going to fail. You're going to fall apart, because there's a reason why I would suggest, or someone would suggest, certain things at certain stages. So if someone throws a carbohydrate in there differently, or they throw a sweetener in, or they throw a powder in, or they throw a pill in, it's going to change things, and it's going to throw you off.
Well, and you won't know what's working, what's not working. It just throws it off so much.
Right. So you really have to pick and choose who you're going to follow. You've got to trust in that process, and you've got to make the decision that you're going to follow it and go that path 100%, or don't do it. You know what I mean? And then if you decide after that show that you don't ever want to see us ever again, then don't. You know what I mean? Like, don't ever call us again. We're okay.
That won't happen.
I know. But, the reality of it is you're not going to win a show if you're trying to listen to 5 different people at the same time. And that often happens, and just, like she said, have fun with it. But I think the idea of today, or the whole purpose of today, was for you to be able to see someone who is able to make it happen, and not just for a show, but just in life. And it's really a pleasure to watch. It's a pleasure to be a trainer to a person like that, and to just continue. I foresee I see myself being 65 years old, still doing this, and and Misty, Debbie, seriously, why are you thinking of these things? Where does these things? I told her the other day, I'm like, I just hope when I'm in my 60s I can think of things like this. That leg press thing, I'm like, what if my brain, I got to keep the coconut oil, something to keep me going, so I can keep thinking of the meanness, But what we're driven by is science and understanding science and looking at someone's structure and knowing where things need to change. So I know exactly what needs to change on Misty, so that I really sit there and meticulously design how that needs to happen. It's not just, well, bodybuilding.com told me, nothing against that website. I've said it a couple of times, it's a great website. But they told me to do these exercises to get a glute. Well, I know I need to develop her all the way around. So I can't just squat. I can't just deadlift. I got to do a lot of different things with her, so we've got to know and understand that.
Yeah. So
information on how to do a 5-month nutrition program with us or with myself, just give us a call at 636-299-2208. If you're considering doing a show or really just want to get in shape as if you are doing a show, take a look at us, integritytraininggroup.com. Sign up for an assessment with Misty. We have also plenty of other trainers too, but sign up with an assessment for Misty. There's no charge. Have her just take a look at you and see where you're at structurally. She'll give